Hey homeschoolers, this is Jim Pence with See the Light. In this part of our digital art projects workshop, we're going to do a drawing. It's going to be stylized, and what I mean by stylized, again, I'm not trying to draw a realistic tulip or, like last week, a realistic rose, but I'm going to use the shapes and the imagery to create what would be called a stylized tulip. But this time, like you see in the picture here, we're going to arrange them in a kind of a circular pattern. And what we're going to do is just get an idea of how we're going to draw our tulip. So let me get kind of a darker color here, and I'm going to actually just use a pencil at this point. And again, I'm going for a stylized look. You notice it's kind of almost a circular shape. You know, and if I come around here, you know, I've got a petal out here, I've got a little bit here, got a little bit here, got another petal coming in, got a big petal coming around here. Okay, but I don't need it that complex. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's take that back out. Okay, what I'm going to do is the way we're going to draw this, and let's shrink that down. I'm going to draw a very basic shape here. Okay, and that's probably about, might put just another little hint of a petal there, but when we actually do our picture, that's going to be about as complex as our flower will be. And I'll refine it a little bit, make it a little bit more shapely. And then if you look at the pictures of the leaves, you'll notice the leaves, let me turn that off. Notice the leaves are kind of long and pointed on the end. And so again, let's move this over. You know, for leaves, we're going to just do something along this line. Okay, and I'll probably bring another one over like that. And then it always has a very thick stem coming right down. And the leaves tend to, you know, almost surround. I don't think they tend to, actually. I think they actually do surround the flower itself. Okay, so it's going to come down kind of like that. So that's what we're going to be going for in our actual drawing. But what we're going to do is we're going to do this with the symmetry tool. So what I want to do is, let's come back out, and I want to use my eraser, and let's just, it should be bigger than this. There we go. Okay, and I was actually drawing on the wrong layer there. I was drawing on my reference layer. Okay, so that's the shape. I'm actually going to take that picture off, because I won't need it anymore. And I don't know that we'll really need these ones here, but I do want them just for a little while for a reference. So Okay. Let's shrink back down. Okay. So let's move our paper up here. And let's set up the symmetry tool. I'm going to turn on symmetry. And you notice I've got it set to 7. You can set anywhere from 2 to 16 here. 16 is a bit much, even 13 or 14. Could go 12 or 11. And something I've already done is I've locked the symmetry lines so they can't be moved. And what I'm going to do is move the paper here so that I'm going to have the most room to draw. So let's roll that up just a little bit. Always have to remember to turn symmetry back on. Maybe a little, well, let's try zooming in. Okay. A little further. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm going to actually draw in this little triangle here, and it's going to repeat everything that I do in all of the other ones. So with that in mind, let's do, I'm going to put my paintbrush on. Let's see if the size is good. Size is looking good. All right, so I'm going to draw just a very simple stylized flower, or a stylized tulip. Oops, wait a minute, I forgot to do something here. I want to turn on my predictive stroke. There we go. Like that. I'm not happy with that line right there. Okay, a simple tulip drawing. Now, for the stem, actually let me do the leaves first, then we'll do the stem. Okay, for the leaves, I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to come down in kind of a curving line, about toward the center. And I'm going to bring that down like that. Actually, a little bit farther. I'm going to bring another one down. I'm going to bring that one down to the end of the page. And then draw my stem. Okay, now if I wanted to dress it up a little bit more, I could add another leaf in like that. And the leaf is a little too round. Let's try that again. Oh, it rounded it out again. That's the problem with predictive stroke. It sometimes does stuff you don't want it to. There we go. Okay, so as I zoom out, now I have a design with 7 tulips all in the center and all surrounding. Now, what about the end of these tulips over here? As you'll notice, of course, this one came off the edge of the page. So let's come in here and finish these guys off just so that they will look a little bit more finished as opposed to the other one. Okay. Okay, it's time to color our tulips, and there are really a couple of ways to do this, and I'm going to show you the easier way, and then I'll tell you about the more complicated way as well. The more complicated way will be to do separate colors for each of the tulips so that each one was a different color. That would take a little too long to show you here because we would have to create separate layers for every single tulip petal. And if you wanted to, even separate layers for all of the different leaves and stems. So you can make this as complicated as you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of them alike. But then next week, or in the next video, I will show you how we can add some individuality to each of them. But to cut down on the number of layers that we're going to need, we're going to just do the basic color all alike with each flower the same. So with that in mind, remember that when we're doing this, we have to select when we're on the line art layer, but when we paint, we want to have a layer underneath. So I'll show you. We're going to come up to our selection tool. We want to be on the magic wand this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to click and do the right-handed petal of each flower. Now, to add the color, I've got to click down here on layer 1. And what we're going to do is go up to the bucket tool, the flood fill. And I've chosen kind of a yellow color for these, so just click in that. It's going to color all of those petals. And we come up here with the little X, that means deselect, so those are all now deselected. Now we want to add another layer, and remember it always has to be underneath our line art layer. And let's come up and color another petal. So we'll come up here, select, and magic wand tool, hold down the Shift key, and now just so these petals aren't identical, I'm going to come over to my color editor and I'm going to change the hue just slightly, a little darker, a little richer yellow-orange. And then remember, we've got to be on our layer underneath the line art. Click on that. Oops, I made a mistake. I forgot to go back up to my flood tool. There we go. And then we're going to do a deselect. And then we want that last little petal there. And again, I'm going to just change the hue a little bit. And let's zoom in a little bit on this one, make it a little easier to do our selection. Okay, come up to the select tool, make sure we're on the magic wand, and we need to add a new layer. And hold down the Shift key. Oops. Okay, see, I was on the wrong layer, and that's why it didn't select. But what it did do is it selected that whole layer. So what I want to do is deselect, and zoom back in, go back up to my line art layer. Now, hold down the Shift key, and select. I've already chosen a little darker or a richer red orange or yellow orange, and go back to my flood fill tool, click in there. Okay, and so what we're going to do is deselect again, and now we've got our flower. And I'm going to do the same thing with the petals, or not the petals, but the leaves and the stem. And so let's speed things up a bit, and we'll get this done. hope you'll have fun with this. And next week we're going to take this a step further. We're going to add a background. We're going to make it look a little bit more finished. But first of all, get your tulips drawn, colored, and then next week we'll finish out this piece of art. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will like this video on YouTube and also subscribe to our channel. And be sure and check out seethelightshine.com, where you can get some pretty awesome tutorials. If you really want to learn to draw, be sure and go to seethelightshine.com and check out Art Class. You can get 3 free lessons, and they'll teach you how to draw what you see. I'm Jim Pence with See the Light. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.